Hello and welcome to another episode of the SENDhelp Podcast. Today I have got a really exciting guest. I've got an author with me today named Julie, and Julie has got a diagnosis herself and has written some brilliant books around special interests, around autism, and just the day-to-day struggles that it could have, but put it in such a brilliant way that it's really great to understand. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about what she does. I'll let her talk to her for herself. So Julie, after you, I'll let you speak to the guests. But yeah, thank you for coming on, and excited to share to everybody what you've kind of created.
Hello everyone, I'm Julie Day. I'm an autistic author and advocate, and as Nathan just said, I write mainly children's books featuring autistic characters finding confidence. And I do have a diagnosis actually of Asperger syndrome. I was diagnosed in 2011 at the age of 40, so I was a late diagnosed adult because when I was growing up in a child in the 70s, 80s, autism and Asperger's wasn't known at all. And by the time it was known from the 90s, I was already in full-time employment. And because I was in full-time employment, my mum just didn't do anything. She was happy for me to carry on working until that was 2010 when I was told I was going to be made redundant because they were restructuring the whole department, especially the reception bit, which was my main part of the job. So when I was made redundant in 2010, I sought for referral for assessment, which I managed to get. And thankfully, unlike now, I know there's months and years that you have to wait for an assessment. I only had to wait 6 months. And that was only because there was a cancellation at the time in March 2011. And my mum, who was alive then, she came with me. We went to the hospital and I had the assessment. We were both asked very similar questions about my background, my medical background, my personal background, family background, school background. And I think we all answered it more or less similarly as well, which we found out in the end. And then they said, yes, Julie, you've got Asperger syndrome. And to be honest, the diagnosis, I think for both of us, my mum and myself, came as a relief because I had a proper reason as to why I was like I was and still am. And I just thought I was just shy, I was quiet, which is why I was like I was at school. Didn't like reading out loud in class, found it hard to make friends by myself. And so I started learning about autism then.
So how did it feel? Because I got diagnosed around about then, I think, because it was been like kind of as it coming off the 90s. I was born in the 90s, so it was very, and that's what the Asperger's was. That's what I heard. So it was autism. When I got diagnosed with autism, was like tied to like sort of learning disabilities autism, and Asperger's was kind of like when you get high functioning and stuff like that. How did you feel? Was it about the stigma back then? Did you feel any kind of stigma, or was there any kind of fear about getting that attached to you, or was you just relieved about finding an answer?
It was just finding the answer. I didn't find any stigma at all because I know there is now with the name Asperger's, but back then I don't recall hearing or seeing any stigma towards that label. Now it's either just on the spectrum or level 1, 2, or 3. I think it was only like a couple of years later that it actually all changed. I just say I have Asperger's, and I also say I'm autistic. So I try and work it around that way.
Yeah. So times have obviously changed. You mentioned it as well. Like now, you only wait 6 months. I'm sure I was only been waiting a few months anyway, isn't it? Like people are waiting years and stuff now. Where along the journey did you decide that you was going to start writing book? when did you start becoming an author? How soon after getting your diagnosis did you start putting that into paper, or is there something before that made you start writing?
My writing started way before then, but my children's autism books came at least a few years later after I was diagnosed with Asperger's, being autistic. When I first was diagnosed back in 2011, I started. I don't think I was actually writing about autism then. I hadn't even started my YouTube channel either. I just trying to sort of read a little bit about it, but not that much, just like the basic stuff. And it wasn't until sort of like 2014, 15 that I actually started writing the children's autism books. And I think it was about that time as well that I started my YouTube channel talking about a bit about Asperger's and being diagnosed and how I found out about it and everything. So, yeah, 2014, 15 is when I started. It's a few years later, after I was diagnosed, when I started writing them. Shocked.
So is it something, so you was already a writer anyway, is it something you just naturally fell into with your writing and went into the autism writing after the diagnosis, and then kind of developed it from there?
At the time, no, because at the time I was writing something completely different.
Okay.
I think I'd started writing children's books about teenage angels and mermaids, and I started writing like adult magical realism, like ghosts. And the children's autism books, it didn't actually start out as children's autism books. I just had, I think it's getting back in the book, it started out as a dream I had about this schoolboy who became super in front of his classmates. All I knew just had to do with his socks. And I didn't know why he needed to become super, how he became super. All I knew that his classmates were really proud of him. And I sort of started writing it. And then I got the chance to see the play The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Do you know the book by Mark Haddon? I got a chance to see that play with my mum for free. Because I was given a chance to review it as an autistic person, because the main character is autistic, and that gave my perspective that way. So when I watched the play, seeing the autistic character, I thought, yes, that's why my character is quiet. He needs to be super. He's autistic. And then I started writing it again, and I thought, I know, I based himself on me at that age. I like writing stories, but I didn't like reading them out loud in class, and that's how I made Billy, well, I've got him with me, my book Billy and the Sparkling Socks, that he becomes super because he finds a way of reading out loud in class, and his class really like it. So, and he stops with a magical bit, and they take him to a magical world where he sees himself as a confident storyteller, and he learns from that and becomes more confident. And then once I wrote that book, then the whole series, I started rewriting it, and I thought, let's base all the characters in the series based upon me at that age, being autistic plus other health issues, which is what I did. And that's how the Rainbow School series came about.
That's really good. How was you? I take it it was received really well from the get go, was they?
Sorry?
So when the first one come out? Did you get a lot of positive feedback from the first one?
Not really. I mean, the first one, Billy, came out 2016, 2017. I'd only just started writing children's autism. Back then I wasn't really promoting it so much and going out to fairs and markets like I am now to sell it and promote it. So it didn't really get that sort of like feedback back then. It's only been the last few years when I've been going to fairs and markets, and especially to Autism and SEND conferences where I've been selling them, that it has been getting the feedback, yes, it's needed, that I have been.
That's great. That's great. So we got. So a lot of you've talked about special interest with me as well previously when we've spoken about, isn't it? And that's kind of what you've kind of based a lot of books about and stuff. So what kind of special interest did you have? And then we'll go from there. What special interest do you have? What's your special interest?
It's all in my book. The Passion Path, which is a part memoir, part guide for parents and educators of autistic children. It's chronically starting from when I was a child. I did write briefly when I was a child. I had sort of like interest in sort of like doing like cross-stitch tapestries, which appears in my book Susie and the Jiggling Jumper. Writing. What do I have? Cross-stitch tapestries. Like a lot of people, I collected a lot of things. I collected sort of like various different ornaments. At the time there was like all pocket dragons, and there was like whimsical animal figurines, badges. Now there's like stickers, like football stickers. So I did with my brother. We used to collect sort of like England squad and World Cup squad and that. And then my main one was postcards. And I had sort of like really like several really thick ring binders of postcards. It just got, in the end, I had so many, and it just got no space and cost too much to carry on doing, and I had to give that one up. That was through my childhood, and then towards the adulthood was cross-stitch tapestries until I started writing back in late 90s.
That's good. So at least you get to do one of them now, don't you? Especially interested in the writing, is it now? How many books have you got in total now?
Oh, including ebooks, over 30. Because most of my ebooks,
wow.
And most of my ebooks, they're quite short. They could be sort of like called novelettes and novellas and short stories. They're like my adult ones, and other the YA ones as well. But the children's ones now, they're sort of like they're proper books.
That's cool. That's really cool. It's not easy to do. Like as much as now, it seems like everyone's kind of got a book, but I think it's to do what you're doing. It's like the original, the series of the book, the characters. Like it's very written. It's very author based, isn't it? Whereas the newer books are kind of like more scientific based in the sense of this is like, you know what I mean? I think it's really important to have them sort of books because for kids, like to be able to relate to a character is a lot easier than to be able to relate to an actual human because they're so much more unpredictable as human beings, aren't we? Then it'd be like a character you can kind of put yourself in their shoes. I love the idea. Really love the idea. I love the books. Are you writing one at the moment? Is there any you're writing at the moment?
Yes, I'm writing. I did just finish the first draft of book 5 in my Pet Rescuer series. So hoping to sort of finish that this year. That's the title of it. I'm thinking be Noah and the Tortoise Takeover. Noah, I've actually, with the last one, Fran, which I've got here, and she's non-speaking, autistic. I'm trying to sort of vary it. So when Noah is verbal and he can speak, I made him little black boy because I know that the spectrum is a spectrum. It's not just white people, it's Chinese people, it's Asian people, it's black, brown people as well. So I'm trying to represent that Because I remember when I went to a one-day workshop last year, it was nothing to do with my books and nothing to do with autism, all to do with sales, corporate sales. I sat next to, I think she was a social worker, and I showed her my book, but she was really interested, and when she was black, and she said to me, pointed out to me, you should have like a wide spectrum of people in your books. So I said, okay, I'll do that sort of next series, which is what I'm doing now.
Oh, amazing. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's great. I can't admire you enough, honestly, for doing something like that. It's just amazing. Yeah. What How long does it take? I've always been curious to like write a book. Like, how long does it take you? Like for each book, is it different? Does it vary?
It does vary, actually. It depends if I've got something else I'm writing at the same time. Like Nin and the Pirate Pursuit, that actually took me like 4 months to write, only because at the time that was the only thing that I was writing, because I'd only just come out of hospital back in 2021 when I wrote that, and I wasn't writing anything else at the time. But the one that I'm writing now that I looked at it, I started that end of last September, and I've only just finished the first draft. But I think in the middle of that I had a break to possibly write and publish Fran's story and do something else. So like a month's break. So it can take from like 4 months to 6 months, 7 months, depending on what else I've got going on at the same time.
That's not cool. Nice. That's why it's got series. That's quite cool. It just shows you're creative, actually. To be fair, to be able to even do multiple books at the same time, that blows my mind. I could write two. Like, but yeah, I something that I never kind of come across. I'm finding it as I'm getting older, because I think with my dyslexia, I kind of come away from books and reading and stuff like that. But I'm starting to, obviously through my kids, I had to read the books and stuff like that. But starting to realise like the importance of books, and I never realised like the aspect of, I'm very factual with my autism and stuff like that, but I didn't realise that like books like open up a whole new world. Even more so than a TV program, because you have to fill in the gaps yourself. And I think the imagination that it kind of creates, because you create your own world, and every book kind of means something different to everybody because they interpret it a different way. I think that is insane. It's really nice. Like, and I really I'm pushing my kid about on books at the moment, so I'm going to get some of yours definitely and get them to read it and stuff like that, because I think it's one of the things that's never going to go away. As much as writing could be taken away in the sense of ChatGPT and all the stories and stuff like that, actual creative writing and reading is something that's going to stay, and I think it can't be taken by an AI bot and stuff like that.
No.
Actually, talk about it. How do you feel about that, being an author, about the use of AI and stuff now?
But it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I use ChatGPT now and then, but not for the writing. I used to do like the marketing and sales and blurbs and book descriptions for my books, but not the actual writing. And I think a lot of authors probably feel the same. I don't know if I've seen what it can come up with. It's just, unlike us authors, it doesn't have the emotion and the feelings that us humans have and can put into the writing. It's just, I've seen a bit of it, it's just the same thing, and it's not varied at all. So my thoughts are you can use like ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and all those for writing, but I think you still need the human touch to sort of tweak it a bit here and a bit there, and that to make it not so AI looking.
Yeah, I agree, and I know what you mean about samey, and it's almost like Facebook has turned into that I don't know what it is. It's like an emotionless, robotic kind of.
Well, it is a robot,
you can really
isn't
tell,
it?
isn't it, if you're not editing it. Yeah. It really, I found it like sometimes as well, like it really catches me off guard of how much it lacks of empathy. Like when you ask, because I use it quite heavily again, same as you, to like to kind of run things through and kind of not the actual the post, but like not the actual product, like the writing, but like the marketing, the stuff like that, going through schemes and stuff like that. But if you like, so I very early on tried to do it through emails, and I was like, oh, could I get it to just answer emails like through a thingy? And I couldn't, because I couldn't get it. It was just so. I only want to say it's like savage. It's like to some of the replies it would produce would be very cold hearted and very like, and I'd spend more time trying to edit it to make it more human than it would be to go through it. So I was like, I just gave up with it. But you can see like the world, but it's good. I at first really panicked about like all the creative jobs and stuff like that going out the window. But I think it's very proven now that you can tell the difference between an AI produced product and a human produced product. And a
Yeah,
human produced product still outshines
yeah.
the robot that produces all the things, no matter what it is, isn't it? And I think it's great. The creative arts are still there, going strong.
You can. I mean, even cover designs of books and that. I mean, photos. I can on Facebook and everything. I look and I'm thinking that is definitely AI. That's definitely AI.
Yeah, it's ease, isn't it? It's the time it takes is always going to keep it into contention, because you could always do something in seconds rather than putting any work to it. But I think it produces something that is ultimately the result of that. So like you're not going to get very much variation between the things if you're not even putting the creativity into the commands. And I think a lot of it as well is how you use it, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
if you're using it.
I know with ChatGPT, and I've been taught this by someone else. You actually want it to come up with for it to work properly. So if you want it in your voice, I know you can insert bits. If you have a blog or something, or a book like me, you can sort of insert a bit of that into ChatGPT and say, please write such and such an email or something in this type of voice, which is my voice, or write it in a chatty, friendly, casual voice. So that prompt to make it sound like.
Yeah, I heard someone actually. I saw it. I think it was on that podcast with that one. I can't remember what it's called. The guy from Dragon's Den. God, I can't believe it's called Diary of the CEO. And he was saying there was an author on there, and he was a psychologist, and he said that he put his books all through ChatGPT and told it to memorize his writing style and stuff like that, and to basically image. And he said he couldn't believe how well it done. So he said he put everything he ever written, he put through it, and he said that it literally it created a clone of him. And he said it's great. Like, so I suppose, yeah, if you put the inputs in as well, it's still your stuff that's going through, because you have to work anyway, don't you? So, but yeah, it's great. What so do you go to a lot of schools?
No, actually. I went to,
No.
I said before, primary. I went to one very local here, and then I went to secondary school, just one there from the first year to the sixth form. Both mainstream. Not that I liked them,
Yeah.
but still.
I was say, yeah. How was your school experience? Was it good? Fine? Or
um, not really good.
no?
I mean, primary school picked on um, by various people. I tagged along with a couple of other girls in my class. Well, I thought were friends, but I know now weren't. But that's how I thought I made friends. And the same with secondary school. Because I was quiet and I was shy, I was seen as different. I was picked on by someone in my class who happened to be the girl who was from my primary school class, and older girls all through until the sixth form. And it wasn't until the sixth form when I did business studies diploma. I was in a different class and different pupils that I really liked it because it was something I wanted to do. But
Yeah.
no,
That's,
I didn't.
yeah, I'm sorry you went through that. It's just, and I suppose back then as well, you didn't really look outside to think of any other reason but you being quiet and timid because you didn't, as you said, didn't look to see Asperger's or didn't know to think, oh, maybe there's something that is neurologically going on there. And you're just left exposed in that situation, aren't you? Because I went to two mainstream schools too, but I think this is where I feel like I had a blessing with ADHD, and I've always said if I didn't have ADHD, I think I'd been real problematic in school in the sense of I'd have been in similar situations. But the ADHD made me kind of mask into someone that wouldn't be bullied in the sense of I would always stand up for myself very quickly. So it would be so I didn't have the fear. Obviously, you get tried it, but I would fight back. But I was so grateful. And then what happened was 2 years into that, I got put on medication, and then I was very vulnerable. So I went from someone that was like quite loud and kind of a bit out there, a bit like sort of this, and then I went into myself, and then the autism came out, and then I realised a bit like you, then I become really quiet. I wouldn't speak kind of in public space. I just come completely different, and school then become a very up until year 8, I'd say school was fine. I didn't see any problem with it. I got in trouble, but I just thought, And then when I got put on the medication and the autism came out, them last 3 years were really, really difficult because I just didn't, and I don't know about you, it was just not knowing what to do in the sense of what, even friendship groups, who to fit into, who do I like, what do they interest in. It just, I was always trying to pretend to be in the right circle that it just exhausted all my time. And that got into my learning too because I was so trying to keep up a character of, trying to fit in or trying to be naughty or whatever, or that it would just take away from anything I wanted to do. And I think it's quite sad that we go through that just because of the
I
diagnosis of
was,
autism, isn't it? That it should,
I mean, I was shy. I was seen, and I know now. I was sort of on the outside of all the groups, and I just tend to sort of like the oddbots, the people that are the loners who are sort of also on their own. Unfortunately, it's included. Came from my primary class, who I hated at the time. I still hate. And I think there was another girl there who I know now. I mean, I've no idea if she's still around. I don't know for sure she had dwarfism. She was quite short. Tend to sort of levitate and sort of tag around with different groups and make friends with different girls and that at the school because it was an all girls school. And then I think year 3 was when I went to, because it was like option year, I sort of went to classes that we chose, and I did French and history. And I think I'm partially deaf as well, and I tend to just sit right at the front so I could hear the teachers better, which is what I did in my history class. And but my best friend now, as she in the history class, she says you sat behind me, and she poked me in the back with the ruler. I remember it, and she was like, now best friends and have been for years. So, we met her because she was in the same tutor group as one of the other girls in the same class, who I sort of like befriended, and like she was on the outside. I befriended her that way, and we sort of gravitated towards each other, and we sort of became friends. And now, sort of like nearly 40 years on, we're still friends.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, no, that's actually quite a good, nice end of the story, isn't it? With the friendship blossomed for many years. I mean, how do you feel about kids going through school now? Obviously, have you seen the media about like? Do you think that much is being changed in a sense to protect them from going through that in school, or do you think that that's still very highly likely?
Right. I think it has changed a lot, mainly because you've got the internet now. You've got a mobile phone. I mean, back in my day in the 80s, you had nothing like that. And the bullying was just at school. Now you've got on the internet. It just follows. It follows the children everywhere, and they can't get away from bullying, which is really sad. But when it comes to sort of like the SEN and autistic children, I think it's good that there are schools, autistic children, and they help them that way, because hopefully the teachers are trained to understand the autistic side of children, so they can help them if like take them out when they have like the sensory rooms and all that. I mean, I don't know if I know a lot of mainstream have like the SEN units, so I don't know what it's like, but it is. And what it is a lot worse, I said, you've got the internet, you've got the smartphones, and it just follows the child everywhere. I've got like the SEN units and the SEN schools that can help support the child. And I know of one, we know our really special schools about. I know one who I've been following online. I don't know if you follow stories about autism. James Hunt, and his two boys. Jude has just turned 18, and though he's non-verbal and autistic and global delay, but I know he goes to a special school, and what I thought was really brilliant was that now he's turned 18, the special school has got like a residential place next to it where they can teach the children like life skills. But when but maybe their parents can't look after them anymore for some reason. That's brilliant.
That's really nice. That's really good. Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because the awareness brings the SEN units and the specialist schools, but if you get stuck in the mainstream, then you've got to worry about the social media. And I could not. It scares me just thinking about it, and it's like one of the biggest fears that I fear for my children, especially when it comes to my daughter, with the things that can happen on social media. And what, again, as I said, videos that get shared, that go across schools, that go across, that don't get taken down. That one person's got a copy, anyone can make a copy of it. It's just like it would haunt you, and I'd hope now that there's enough of the SEN recognition and SEN problems, that SEN solutions, like as you said, being able to do stuff like life skills and stuff like that, so to avoid any kind of just being left on their own to fend for themselves, like we kind of had to in mainstream, I suppose, because there is the real awareness now. You'd think that there is the support and the understanding, not just from the teachers, but also from the children, because the children should be more aware, because you see them much more now, don't you, SEN children? We had in school, I remember, we had a very positive experience with Asperger's, because I got diagnosed with autism. I ignored it. I didn't tell anyone when I was 13. I got diagnosed at 13, did not tell anyone, because I thought at the time that meant learning disabilities, because I worked at, like, I only saw that with people very high with autism, because I thought, why didn't they give me Asperger's? Why didn't they give me Asperger's? Like, I was like, they're trying to say, I got really offended because they didn't give me that diagnosis. I thought they were saying that I'm just not functioning. I was like, why? I was like, I really, so I ignored it and didn't tell anyone really. Obviously my mum and everyone knew, but I didn't tell any of my friends. I just kept the ADHD front up. And then when we got to like year 11, there was a kid that came on with his Asperger's, and he was like so intelligent, like really intelligent, and he stood out very quickly. But he done maybe the best thing ever. Like when he started, and within a month of the school, he managed to get like Grand Theft Auto installed across the board and all of the computers. He was a hero amongst us all. So everyone else, and then I remember thinking, that's why they didn't give me the Asperger's diagnosis, because I can't do stuff like that. I can't do the computers. That's obviously why. And like, reinforcing, like thinking, yeah, no, I stay in my lane. I must be one of the like dumber ones. But it has come a long way since then, hasn't it? Like the diagnosis and the levels. I don't really understand that. I don't understand how you could level autism, because again, it goes into, if you're very high functioning but have very high sensory needs, what level are you then?
Yeah, I think you can be looking at it for myself. I mean, I would say mainly I'm level 1, but as you just said, have certain things that can make you level 2 as well. So you can be sort of like 1 and, or you can be in the middle of 2 and 3. So I know level 3 is definitely sort of like non-speaking, like with global delay and what they call like profound autism. They're just with really low learning disabilities and that I can. I can't remember who actually said it. Somebody did say, I can't remember who it was, described it as like a somebody quite well known in the autism world. Described like a DJ thing, you know, what do you call it? Where they do the up and down. I mean, I described it as like a computer. Your brain's like a computer or a cable. You sort of like you have long cables like for communication, and it's sort of like the cable can be too short, which is why you find it difficult to communicate with people. Or you can have a cable that's too short or too thin, which is why you've got sensory issues. That's my explanation.
That's a great explanation. And I think it's a better explanation because I think, as you very well described at the beginning, there is no, you can't be, I don't agree with the levels for that reason as well, because I think if you're looking at it as a categorized thing, it's not. And autism means something different to every single one of us. And you can, and I think this is where they missed it before with the diagnosis and why they're going to the problem now, because they did think it came with like a severe learning disability. And when they started getting kids that had the same symptoms as the kids with the learning disabilities, but still was managing to be in school, I think that's the problem they've got now with this generation, where they don't really know how to deal with them because they've not really focused or thought that was a possibility, when actually it is a very real possibility, because autism is so unique and profound in so many different ways. And then you've got personality, life, and other diagnoses. So everyone's going to have different bits. You're going to be a level 1, bit level 2, and a bit of level 3 at somewhere. So you can't just then focus. Like, I worry that if they've got like level 1 autism, then they only get like level 1 autism support. Like, do they not then get, because you're not diagnosed to autism, you don't need that.
Yeah. I think there are probably autistic children out there that are sort of in that position. Sort of like in betweeners, sort of like they can do certain things, but then they can't do other things. And I was still someone's phrase called the SEND-betweeners. And that was described by Lisa Lloyd. I don't know if you follow her. ASD, the GNT.
Yeah.
I think both her children fall in that gap.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, she's very good. Shout out to her, actually. She's actually good. I like her. One of the pioneers of it, I think. She's been around for ages, isn't she? She's still like, I think she's been doing, I've seen her doing some, I think first was doing a campaign or something to do with the something long ago. But what do you think? Talking of autism, and it's quite negative as well. But what's your favourite thing about autism? What's your favourite for you? What's your favourite thing that your autism brings to your life?
I would say especially interest in my writing. 'Cause I have over the years. I think I did start writing when I was a child, and then sort of like school, and I started working. Definitely my writing, because it gives me that special interest and learning about it and learning about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I put in all the special interest I've had over the years because of my autism has helped me in my life in various ways, whether it's like bonding with my family, like doing the same things with my family, or becoming independent, travelling to writing events, whatever. So yes, special interest in especially in writing. How about you?
Yeah, I think I don't know. Because I've only just kind of accepted I had it in my 30s, like, for real. Because I've got my ADHD. I nerfed it too much, and I was like, oh no, it's like school again. I don't. But I just think it's it's a different view of the world. I think I like the fact that you kind of see something your own different, unique way. So like the way like you do your writing, I suppose, isn't it? Like we have that individualism in the way that we perceive the world that comes out in many different ways. So like it could come out in writing, it could come out in like, so what I'm doing in social media, and I just like, it's just that bit of difference, isn't it? And I think for my children, I think I like it because it makes them who they are, if that makes sense, without defining them to the bad behaviour of it, but it makes them who they are in the sense of that's them, and that's what's going to not necessarily hold them back. But some of the things they're doing at the moment are amazing. I'm like, oh my god, they're going to be they've got autism, and that's going to help them in this field. So I see both sides of it, but the positives of it should be spoken about more. It should be, the media should play about it, because I think we are all amazing in our own way, and we all, as I said, I don't think people realise, especially with autism, how different we all see it. Like, so if it's very hard to, you can always, all of us can relate, but it always means so much different things. Like I said, like special interests, you can kind of relate, but not too much to what the interest is. But you all have special interests, don't we? Like, and go through things like mine's at the moment is medieval stuff. I've moved from the Roman period. I'm in the medieval area at the moment, and then it will just go back to Saint Random like that. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's good, and I think in your books, I think that's another thing it highlights, isn't it? It's about like it's the differences, but not making you different, if that makes sense. Is being part of something, still being part of a community, and the community in itself in Sen has got much bigger in the last few years, and I do think that's really good. I think, how's it been for like work and stuff? Have you been seeing? So obviously you go to fairs and stuff. Has it been something that's been picking up? Have you seen more and more crop up, like Sen events?
Yes, I have actually. In the last couple of years, I sort of more Sen events, probably because I'm looking out for them. And I went to a Sen conference last year, but I couldn't go this year. Too much. And then I went to one in Kent last year, and I went again this year, and that's not till October. So they're about autism, everything again there. I do local markets as well. So hopefully be picked up there.
Yeah, no, I think I've definitely seen, even like I've only been doing social media probably heavy about it for 2 years, because I was working with the registered manager before that. But I've even seen the increase in the just opportunities for people to go learn about Sen and go to the Sen community, and that's something that I'm trying to do. Going to start this summer and try and do next year, because I haven't done that yet. Go to the events. I've seen them crop out and stuff, and like I think it's about time I start going there. As I said, for my own personal self as well, not even just a business, but just to see what it is that's out there. What sort of things do they do? Do they do? Do they have like talks and people like that come on and stuff like that?
Yeah, the one I got in October the 9th is in Chatham, Kent. It's been done by Together Consultancy Group. And they're both, I think, well, at least one of the ladies is autistic herself, autistic families. And they're giving, it's like a conference. So it's they're giving talks, and you got stalls there where I'm selling my books. And there's that one, Kent. There's one in July, one's in Charlton. That's been organised by an autism group, autistic inclusive meetings. I don't know if you heard of Emma Domain. She's autistic, but she's more of an activist, like a youth centre Charlton area, autism families. And I met her last year. She one night conference thing going on in July. I think there's probably one in December as well. In London. I go to them and I sort of listen and network as well.
Chatham, that's right in the corner for me. Did you say there's one in October?
Yeah, 9th of October.
I'm writing it down. 9th of October. That's literally like, I'd say about 45 minutes for me. Yeah, that'd be good to get there. As I said, I want to get on the scene and start doing stuff like that. And it is just nice to network. How do you find the community? The community is really nice, isn't it? I think the community...
It is, yes. It is really nice. Really helpful.
Yeah. I think we're drawn to each other as well. And I think you said that kind of in school, that you was kind of drawn to that crowd. And I think I didn't... Like, so the friends that I had at school, obviously I was still friends with them and stuff, but I think because it was a mask and wasn't a real relationship, I then ended up with like no friends again and resetting myself after finishing school. so I was like, okay, that's done with now. Now who do I hang around with? Like, sort of thing. But I do think that the community aspect is what we've always kind of done, is gravitate towards each other anyway. But now it's on a big scale, and it's started to get to places where hundreds of us, if not thousands of us, can get together and preach. And it's gonna. I think that's the main thing that's gonna bring the attention that it's deserved for Sen, because there's so many of us doing these local events. You can't ignore it if we're popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
There's rallies going on now, petitions here and there, and it is amazing to see the pressure that's been put on back onto the government for the mistakes they have made.
I'm not going to even mention the recent one. The recent campaign.
Oh no, yeah. Well, the Gemma Collins. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
God. I said the other day, I was like, if the goal was to get as many people to see to get as many people to see it, they done it. They smashed it. But I don't think they was that clever with the ad. I think they just are not connected with us at all on that level, and they actually generally thought they was doing something good with that. I was so mad.
What angered Sen community was, well, not just why her, but in the first place. Oh,
when I really think about it, it winds me up even more, because I think about how many people would have had, like, so where did the idea come from, to how many people it went through to everyone go, yeah, this is a good idea, and not one of them was normal enough to know this was going to be the worst thing they've done. Not so much, again, not personally to her, but it made it look like it was like what she does. It's just absolute show business and not serious and nonchalant, like, yeah, it weren't great. So have you got anything, apart from the events, anything, so you've got a new book coming up, is there anything else exciting that's coming on with you and your books, or anything else that anyone should know?
Not at the moment. I mean, I'm busy this podcast. I've got do another podcast interview in July.
Nice.
Again, new person about autism and writing autism and everything. So in between, I've got lots of school fairs to do and local fairs to hopefully sell a lot and make a profit so I can. I'm hoping to make a lot of profit so I can actually I have actually written an manuscript as an ebook, but I want to earn the money to get it edited and then get the cover for it so I can publish it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the money from what sort of fairs I go to will pay for it.
Well, I hope they do, and I'll help you as well. As I said, I'll put the links and stuff about the books and stuff, and I'm gonna put it in my app. And I think as well, we spoke about you coming on as like a guest to see the kids because they would absolutely love to see something brilliant. So I will try and line it up with the parents as well to see it because I'll help you push that because I do think they're great. And as I said, I'm gonna get some. I'll order some after this call actually to get some to my 5-year-old who. Yeah, I think they're going to be ideal for who's going on a journey that we didn't realise we needed to go on. So I missed one. I missed him. Then it was like a late developer autism. Come out of nowhere, now he can't. He just popped the lid with it and now he can't stop.
I'm a 5-year-old. They are Sammy Squirrel. The nutser. Look for the unlucky adventures of Sammy Squirrel. I've got 3 picture books.
Right, that's
For the little ones. And I've made Sammy autistic as well. He doesn't like being hugged too tight, and he doesn't like tweet. He doesn't like getting dirty too much. He doesn't like heights either, even though he lives up in the tree.
That sounds like Dion actually, to be fair. So yeah, yeah, that would be brilliant.
But
I've grown out. This is what I mean about ADHD being taken out of it. The older I've got, and the better my ADHD's been. Well, not I'd say better. There's been times it's been really bad, but when my medication's been there, I've just got scared of things. So one of the things I didn't know I was scared of was heights until I went to Fort Park and then realised I was scared of heights and rides at the same time. And I don't know what it is. I just got so. I guess year by year, the more the autism comes out, I just question and get more anxious about everything. And I just think I just want to play it safe. I'm just developing fears as I get older.
hated heights. I mean, my house here, it's a Victorian house, and it's got like 20 odd stairs going up and going down.
God.
And my mum once told me she never liked the stairs. It's my 7. My chose was further away from the stairs. My brother had one that was right by the stairs. So I never like I don't mind going up and down them now, but I did sort of when I'm with the perimenopause, and when I started, I did have panic down the stairs. It took me like half an hour to sort of calm myself down and get down the stairs, and it took me sort of like, I don't know, couple of find my way to help myself to get down the stairs, because I had to go upstairs and come back down again. But I don't like heights. I never have done. I mean, I can go down about 3 rungs of a ladder. That's about it.
Well, that's just dodgy anyway, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, but I think, do you know what? I think that's been a great episode, and I think it's been an absolute pleasure to be speaking to you today about everything. And as I said, I think we'll speak afterwards about coming on as a guest anyway, like we spoke to you about before. We'll get all of that sorted. But as I said, I'm happy to again keep updated. When your next book's out, I'd love to invite you back on to be able to talk about specifically that book and for the release date and stuff like that. For that, if that's something you're interested in.
It won't be until next year, because I tend to publish a children's book once a year. Because It also depends
That's
on
fine.
my
Yeah, no.
cover designer when she's available.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, we'll keep in touch anyway, and I'm sure we'll do some things in the app. And as I say, I'm going to
Yep.
put some links to your things and going to tell everyone about your books and that. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And that's it. Thank you.
I had a girlfriend.